The Bee and the Wasp. It was a warm, golden afternoon when the buzzing of insects filled the air, the sunlight filtering through the leaves and dancing on the petals of the flowers. Amidst this quiet hum, two creatures stood out: a bee, working diligently, and a wasp, buzzing with an air of superiority. The bee, small and unassuming, hovered over one blossom after another. Its tiny wings beat in a steady rhythm as it collected nectar, unaware of the eyes watching it from above. The wasp, perched on a nearby branch, watched with a smug grin, its sleek body glinting in the sunlight. "Look at you," the wasp sneered, its voice sharp, cutting through the calm. "Buzzing around, collecting nectar like a common worker. What a pitiful existence you lead." The bee paused mid-flight, its antenna twitching in surprise. "What do you mean?" it asked, its voice a gentle hum, still focused on its task. The wasp puffed out its chest, wings flaring. "I am far superior to you. You toil all day, gathering what others will consume. I, on the other hand, am a hunter. I am powerful, feared by many. I don't need to collect nectar like you. I can take what I want." The bee looked at the wasp, its gaze steady, but there was no judgment in its eyes. "Being feared is not the same as being valued," it said softly, returning to its work. But the wasp was not content with this response, and it needed to prove its point. "Do you know what I've done?" the wasp boasted. "I've taken down creatures much larger than me. I strike fear into the hearts of anyone who dares cross me. No one can match my power." The bee didn't respond at first, its wings still a blur as it moved from flower to flower, gathering nectar. But the wasp wasn't done. "And what do? You simply take nectar. You create nothing." I, the wasp paused, its eyes narrowing. "I could destroy your hive if I wanted. You think you're so important, but you're just a servant to your queen. You're a drone, nothing more." The bee paused once more, its movements slowing as it hovered midair. It was clear that the wasp's words had struck a chord, but there was no anger in the bee's heart. Instead, there was a quiet understanding, as if the bee had seen something that the wasp couldn't. "You know," the bee began, its voice low but steady, "you may be able to hunt, to create fear and strike down others, but what do you create? What do you leave behind?" It paused, letting the words hang in the air. "I build a future with every drop of nectar I collect. My hive thrives because of the work I do. I bring life, not destruction." The wasp scoffed, irritated by the bee's calmness. "Life? What does that even mean? I don't care about your hive. I care about power. I care about being the best." The bee looked at the wasp with a knowing smile. "You think power is everything, but without purpose it means nothing. What is the worth of fear if it fades in the wind? What is the value of strength if it has nothing to nurture?" The wasp blinked, taken aback by the bee's words. For the first time, a flicker of doubt crossed its mind. It had always prided itself on its strength and its ability to dominate. But now, as it listened to the bee, it wondered if there was more to life than simply being feared. The bee didn't wait for an answer. It returned to its task, gathering nectar with quiet grace. But there was something in the way the wasp looked at the bee now, a flicker of something other than disdain. The wasp watched for a moment longer, then, with a sudden motion, it buzzed away into the distance, leaving the bee to its work. The bee never looked up, its task steady and true. As the wasp flew off, it couldn't help but wonder, what did it truly leave behind? If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow.